right, guys, welcome to Rico Capital. And this video is the intro to RicoCap zones. Here you'll learn kind of how my strategy I go about kind of entering, exiting, looking at certain things such as how the zones react to price action and things like that. So pretty much just an introduction on what they are and how they work, and more in depth kind of how I use them. So buckle up, here we go, guys. So let me just give a quick kind of introduction on what they are real quick. A definition, and what they are is supply zones, sellers, buyers, in the simplest form: red sellers, green buyers. When price gets to here, expect some type of rejection seller kind of happening, and then once price gets to green zone, buyers step in for a bounce, kind of expect some type of resistance there. So we're pretty much just looking at the market as a whole and kind of using these as indicators for us. And these are my main indicators that I use. Obviously, my strategy and why I built them, and how you can only get them through me, with years of experience, kind of a trained eye on how I get these levels from the market. It's not an automated thing. It's not a software. It's nothing that you can just plug in and it's going to give you. You get these levels from me, and that's me getting them from the market, watching the tape and things like that. So quick little definition about them real quick, and we're going to jump into how I use them. So today is the 19th. So if we were looking at Friday, 17th, Thursday 16th, and then we'll go Wednesday 15th. So first, we'll kind of look at Wednesday and how we played this perfectly with QQQ. So we're already reaching all-time highs up here. This zone, our 449, 448 hourly supply at the time. It was a supply zone, so it was red. We need to get above this to make all-time highs and then go higher. So as we ripped higher off of CPI data, we're as you see, pre-market buyers ripped us up into this supply and huge wick out of there. So sellers were getting executed. These are sellers at all-time highs. These are institutional orders. These are the big guys sitting here getting executed up here. And as you can see, as at open, and I'm on the 15-minute candle here, 15-minute time frame. So pre-market, they got priced up here. As open, sellers got executed, and notice how we rejected out. So my theory here and why we played this perfectly was, look, SPY's already at all-time highs. Q just needs to get above this. In a quick, split decision I had to make for our team and calling out plays here, I was looking for this. Look, we have support here, and this is a major support if we look kind of on a bigger time frame, how we ripped through this, got through it, ripped above. So this would be a retest here. I was looking for at open, and SPY was pulling back as well to a trend line that we had. So everything was lining up. When they're between two zones this tight like this, I tend to notice that there's a lot of support. There will be a lot of support. Even though this was a supply at the time, I knew that there was a chance it could fail, sure, that we go through, but with the sediment and looking at other things in the market, Apple and a couple other NVIDIA, things that affect QQQ, I said, no, this is very bullish. We're making all-time highs. We're looking for dips here. So this was the dip, and I was waiting for us to get that official demand touchdown here. It never came. We ended up slamming right here on this green candle. Normally, I don't do that, but knowing just the sediment, we pretty much tagged that bottom there. And as you can see, ripped all the way all day after that, from 447 all the way up to 452. So, I mean, we ran it up after that. Now to kind of look into for entry, say we're in a different kind of, and I'm going to go in a little bit more detail with this, but long story short, if we're just looking for entry, I would have also waited till we got above the supply. This would have been my entry right here, and that's the first 15-minute candle body to open above our supply, which is 449.49. There you would have entered. From right here, obviously the next one you would have been up about $1 already. Notice how they squeezed here. No reason to get out of this trade. Knowing that once we get above this one, we should run to the next supply above. So obviously we held, and then gradually just ripped all the way up there. And that tells us we're getting out here. So that tells us sellers are here. We couldn't break above it. Notice how they kept it there. Sentiment is still very bullish. Not trying to fade this or try and take a rejection. Sure, you could have played puts up here, right it open, right, popped, took those puts thinking we would reject out of that supply, and you would have got easily, I mean, over a $2 move right there. And on lottos, man, you would have definitely got paid on that. So even 1 day expiration, you would have been fine. So but the overall settlement was bullish, so we are taking calls or looking for dips. We rode it all the way to the top there. Now we this did break above. Notice how this did break above on the 15-minute, but it dipped in there. It held an EMA and it just held inside here. So your trade is not validated. Say you took this up here and then it came back for this retest. You're inside the zone the whole time still. You have not broke the bottom of the supply, which is 452.19. So the trade's not invalidated. Sure, you're down maybe 10, 20%. And then again, it tried to break above, it wicked out, but it did not with the body. So you're still in it. Say you swung those into the next day. Notice how pre-market it got above, and of course it's overnight, so you can't sell. We're going into tomorrow, which was Thursday, the 16th. So how this reacted and how we played this extremely well. The example here is if you took the position here, didn't sell for a swing, and you just held it for a swing. We didn't actually do that. What we wanted to see is this zone holding? Can our buyers going to step in here now that we got above the supply? Because once you get above the supply, it becomes a demand, and vice versa. Say we ended up dipping out of it. Look how we dipped under it. Now it becomes a supply. That's why it is red to us right now. I'll go a little bit more into that here soon. But kind of continuing this example, say you bought the rip right here, it ended up retesting, you held your position, it tried to break above. It did overnight, but we were up pre-market as it dipped right back in. So you would have been a little bit down, if not break even. What we did was we wanted to see if dip buyers are here, and they were at open. We got that first 15-minute candle dip. They bought it right back up. First one, we entered right here as it opened up above, and we got that immediate pull up all the way on this 15-minute candle. So I mean, easily a good 70 cents move right there off some lottos is amazing. Even just 1 day expiration, you're getting that 10, 20, 30% easy. But say you didn't sell, and we didn't sell, we held. And next one opened up right up here. We did go up above, but we ended up dipping. See the big wick? We wicked back into it as buyers dried up the candle. They bought it right back up. So no reason to sell, even if it's going against you a little bit. Say you're down on the position. Um, no reason to have sold down here. No candle body closed, even inside of it. So you're still good. So notice how the next one opened up, went a little bit higher. So you're back up on the position. But we had a target at that 454.69, and we knew if this was a dip and rip, that was exactly what we're going to do. And I mean, that's exactly what we hit up here. So we ran it up. We sold all up there, and knew we would probably get a little choppy with it, and exactly what it did. We ended up dipping right back in. Notice how it wicked off. You could have easily took some calls again right here for a quicker move, but we didn't do that. Kind of stayed patient as things kind of progressed. So as we got back down here, notice how right here, this is where you'd be invalidated, where the candle opens up under the zone. Look how it wicked up into it, a really long wick. It looked like it touched the top of it right there. So you could have took puts right there, risky, but took the puts and rode it all. And as it dried all the way back up, that's easily $1.50, $2 move right there. Amazing. Overnight, we saw going into Friday, we were under the zone. So I was under the impression here, and I did take a small position on puts as we closed under, just based off my rules. Well, I knew it was going to be tricky just because it was OPEX and oil things going on, oil inventories, things like that. So it was, I didn't expect it to be this choppy, but it came out pretty choppy. Noticed how pre-market were down, but we came right back up to top to test the top of the supply there. Now supply was demand, now supply as I go back under it. Look how perfectly the bodies, I mean, just stopped right at the top there. I mean, if we were holding puts, and I mean, I was holding a small position. I didn't alert to the members. It was just a me thing, small position. I didn't have much confidence in it, but as the zones told me, I take it based off that. And this is me just continuously using my strategy because I want to learn more and how these things work, especially because we're at all time highs. So these are all time highs. These are new zones. This is a new zone. I want to see how it reacts. So it's reacting perfectly. Notice how the bodies got to the top there, couldn't reject or open above it. At open, we got that rejection. We played puts as we retested. We opened up under it, got that retest, took some puts, faster play, very choppy though. Notice how we did jump back into there, same chop, never got above, so put you could have been down, but still validated trade. Notice how chopped along or chopped around pretty much all day, and then near close, look how it just perfectly dumped off and perfectly touched. I mean, our demand where they bought it right back up and a little abandoned baby candle formation right there brought it all the way back up. So very choppy work, but the trade was validated. And if you just took longer dated, except lottos, you would have been fine. Lottos would have worked too, but you just would have been completely down on them. And then once the move happened, you would have been. It would have been you had to have sold that very quick because they stepped in immediately. So looking at kind of tomorrow too, same thing. If we get above this supply, we know it's game time. We're running back to this blue line, 454.69, all-time highs, which we know it works because we already ran to it. If we end up breaking out of this right here and coming back for that retest down here, I could expect us to break this and maybe finally retest this down here. We'll kind of see on that, but that's just in a nutshell kind of how I use those. If you kind of want to look at this in a better kind of more different example, I think I will go with SPY, and I will show you my CPI play, which was this one up here. And wow, this one we were fighting for our lives here, but we knew. So as we were kind of in a just sideways for the past week, waiting for CPI and all that data to come out. We were positioned the day before in SPY calls, and I knew because the sentiment was very strong throughout the week, last week, and I knew if we held this demand, we're going to rip higher. I just wasn't bearish. I was scared for bears. If I was trying to short, I just wouldn't like it right here, even though a lot of people were short going into this. Um, One thing that I do really well at is understanding price action, and that was looking at around the market to see where the strength was at. Apple made it above 187, and I knew if it closed above 187, we were going to rip to 189, 190, which it did, sitting kind of there now still. So we came out. It was pretty choppy action, of course. Day before, CPI or day before, Fed decision, um, things like that, inflation data, whatever. The market was waiting on that. So we came out choppy, very choppy. We were above demand there, and I ended up taking the calls about here, and we did get a good move up there, but it was for a swing, so I held. We ended up rejecting this yellow trend line perfectly, which was kind of like a big flag we were in. We rejected right back down into our demand. A little nervous there, but they bought it right back up. We were kind of dealing with our blue line there in between zones, and we started fading. And as we started fading into the day, I was kind of thinking, "Man, did I get this wrong? No, okay, we're holding our yellow trend line here. That's our last stand. If not, we could test bottom." I still know that overall the sentiment is bullish. So let's see what happens. And of course, it kind of held right here where I start really getting nervous. We're very close. It came very close to my stop, which I kept a tight stop. And in hindsight, I should have been buying more. I didn't. I didn't want to add to the position. I never, add to a loser. I never average in. I never do any of that. Or I average in. I just don't ever add to a loser. So as we got the next candle up on the 15. I kind of said it around here. I was like, look, bulls need to step in the last hour. If this is truly bullish going into data, this we should be able to see a spike and bulls will run it up. So as we kind of got that spike, I was like, okay, we got above that. I was like, perfect. Bulls are doing what they needed. And truthfully, I needed them to get it above uh, 522.64 for us to kind of get above. I would say just kind of get above that line, so it would still be very bullish for us, and I would really like that. So we got to it. We popped hard, and this would have been, look at that 15-minute candle straight above. You say you waited, you didn't get any of that. You took it here. Notice how it held VWAP. Next one, just complete rip up. I mean, Delta squeeze, and we squeezed all the way up to the next supply zone. This was a red zone at the time. And my calls, I mean, just squeezed. And so we trimmed most, swung the runners. And of course, as you can see, the next day we completely ripped out of this 527. They're very in the money for us. We took the 526s down here. Premiums were pretty juiced, but we got, I mean, banger call right there, banger play, ripped open. Notice how this kind of dipped and then ripped from there. We thought we would come at least test our 524. Didn't do that. They bought that up immediately, ran to 529 that day. Calls were so in the money. Beautiful, beautiful work. So that was easy for us. If I want to kind of show y'all maybe a rejection, if we can go off of a supply or something like that. It's been a little bit, but I can show y'all something. Let's try QEQ. Maybe it's a little bit cleaner. I know I have a lot of zones, guys, so bear with me. This would be a very good position right here. I know it looks a little random, and it's green right now because we're above it in demand, but say these are red right here. We opened up in that supply. And I remember this day perfectly. We came up here and we perfectly could not get past the top there. We had a kind of like a gap fill down. We took those puts and it was just immediate banger straight all the way down. $3 move straight down. It was very easy. We didn't wait for it to open up under because it was a fast move. And I just kind of knew just off sentiment. So kind of how we're in this channel right here. We couldn't get a supply. We're inside of supply and this yellow trend line, kind of like a two for with the super trend pointing us down. So 3-1 trade for me in my eyes. I'm taking that every time. Same thing right here. So notice how the same zone right here. Look how we tested it a few days later, wicked off at pre-market, ended up selling off very hard. So that 15-minute candle, you can wait for it to retest and then reject, but you want to be fast with it, especially if you see things like this line up. Things can get fast with it very quick, so you got to be acting on your toes with it a little bit, or wait for confirmation too. So other things like that, kind of on the fly. I like confirmation as well, using different confirmations, especially kind of something like this right here. So say maybe in this area right here, we opened up in this zone. They're trying to break it above, couldn't. Notice how, we got that massive just dump out of there. So there's always confirmation, and there's always going to be something on the 15-minute. Say we bounced around there, and then the 15-minute just opened up, rejected. You could have easily taken that there. Even this next 15, you would have got a decent little move down there. So it all depends on the day. All depends on, taking a 15-minute above a zone, ride back up, ride down, ride all the way down. It's easily the same thing. Same thing here. We dropped into a demand. Bulls got rule with it. I like this, and sure, this was a supply, but we're two zones here. Again, when I see two zones pinned like this, there's a lot more support than there is rejection. So 15-minute super trend printed for us. We took it, rode it all the way back up to this supply. So that was easy stuff as well. Notice how we perfectly rejected up here. Say we came all the way up, you see this kind of doji happen, you take that next 15-minute as it wicked out, and you got that short all the way back down. So say you missed the run up there, easily get it all the way back down. Same thing how it hit it again, bounce. So hope you guys enjoyed this little introduction. I will be making more as we continue with the market and kind of make things easier for you guys. So hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Leave a like, comment, follow, do whatever you got to do. Really hope y'all can tap in with me and get the zones, $10 a week, so you can have this edge, guys. And I mean, it helps out so much. So, and let me show you how you'll get that real quick. So You get immediate access if you sign up to my Discord. You get immediate access to the zones. And this tells you every night, I'm posting every night, for which day it is, give you all a little update on the day before, and then for QQQ and SPY. So I'm giving out the chart and I'm giving y'all, hey, after opening above this fresh fly, Q bounce rejected, we fell back in the 452 hourly and closed under. Below 452 drops to 448, 449. Easy setup, and that's exactly what we did on Friday. So I had it all right there below. There's the put, there's the strike I would go with. Same thing for SPY above here. I'm taking it below. There you go. I'm taking it. So $10 a week. Every night you're getting this and you're getting prepared and ready for it. I do the heavy lifting for you. All you have to do is go out there and execute. So I appreciate you guys, popping in and watching the video. Show some support. And as always, I'll speak to y'all later. Hope you have a great rest of your evening.